right, welcome folks. It is high noon here at Pioneer Valley Regional High School during the tail end of spring break. Pioneer Panthers hosting the Weston Wildcats. Tyler Warbo, Lou Bordeaux here bringing the play-by-play action of this baseball game. Lou, thank you so much for coming out.
Hi, hey Tyler, glad to be here. Good afternoon, everybody. If you're watching us live on your lunch break, maybe you want to stretch it a few minutes longer and stay tuned. We've got the Weston Wildcats making their first appearance, to my knowledge, here in Northfield. They are a Division III club. They are 4-2 so far this season. And yesterday they had a 10-0 win over Malden Catholic. So not sure what to expect here, but like I said, D3 team, 4-2 on the campaign. Today on the hill for your Panthers, Carter Gary. And tell me if I'm wrong, Tyler, this might be his first varsity start, if I'm not mistaken.
I have not seen him during any of the games that BNC TV has covered. I wouldn't be able to tell you whether or not he has taken the hill on any away games so far, but continuing that experimentation and finding some things out. I love seeing this kind of rotation and seeing who works where. And also nice to see Carter out there, no worse for the wear, after getting a little, giving his noggin a flogging with an unsuspected throw back to first. And he took that hit last game we covered.
Yeah, he was certainly a ball magnet in that game, and I'm with you 100%. Great to see him back out there and in a pretty big position here today, taking the hill. Tad Loud is his battery mate, as you've become accustomed to. And as you said, Tyler, the earlier part of the season, Coach Kevin Leopold was trying to find different players, different homes in different positions. And we're starting to see that emerge now, where certain players are expected to be in certain places. Across the infield today, one of those positions, Evan Tippanyuk at first base, Aaron Muse at second. Aaron was a big hitter in that 2-0 win over Franklin Tech on Wednesday. Brody Welcome at short and Jacoby Stumpa over at third. Outfield, left to right, Mauricio Hanono. Hodis, Hayden Gerard patrolling center field, and Tommy Clary's in right. We are ready to get started. And Carter drops that one in for strike one. This is Ryuji Nawa. He is the right fielder for Weston. Left-handed swinging batter. Squares to bunt, drops it down. Looks like a fair ball and everybody's safe.
Well, nice way to start things off. Get your runner on, your leadoff batter on base. Nice way to get things started for the Wildcats.
Well, after Nawa took that first strike, he was sizing up the position of the infield, and he thought he could get away with one, and he dropped a great bunt. So Wildcats have their first runner on. This is Brody Kohler. He's the shortstop. Takes that one up high for ball one. Brody's going to be followed by Aiden Murphy in the lineup. Then Ryan Hinckley is the cleanup hitter for Weston. That one misses up high, 2-0. It's going to be interesting as this game wears on, Tyler, to see just what assortment of pitches Carter Gary has on the mound. So far we've seen mostly breaking balls.
Well, for me personally, I've always kind of felt like, the number one thing you don't want to do is just be having an excessive amount of walks. Even if you're just throwing a meatball into the strike zone, you're better off letting your field do all the work.
Yeah, and the count goes to 3-1 on Kohler. So far, 4 pitches in this at-bat, and they've all been a variety of breaking pitches. Umpire does not have gloves on today. That's a good thing.
Oh, yes, much easier to see that.
Kohler drops a bunt.
Along with a steal by the runner on first.
Yeah, same place, same result. So now, after 2 bunt singles, the Wildcats are threatening here in the top of the first inning. And after 2 batters, I don't know if we can come up with a thesis on it, but it sure looks like the Wildcats are not afraid to play some small ball out there. Here's Aiden Murphy. He's the second baseman for Weston.
And right now with a runner on first and second, no outs. With another well-placed bunt down third, I wonder if Pioneer is wondering whether or not, if that's going to wind up pulling Jacoby Stumpo off of third base. It's going to have to pull Brody over to third if they're going to make any play on the lead runner.
It's a good observation. Count goes to 2-0. And back to something you said a couple minutes ago, Tyler. Carter is going to have to not rely on that breaking ball. He's just got to rear back and try and throw one down Broadway. He's got 7 capable fielders behind him, so we'll see what's going to happen here. He does come in with that one. Single into left field. Nawa circles third. He scores. Kohler into third base standing. Murphy in with a stand-up double. It's 1-0 Weston. That pitch from Carter Gary just up in the zone. Murphy was able to get around on it and just drive it into left field for the RBI double. This is Ryan Hinckley. He's the DH. He takes ball 1 up high. Wildcats with runners on second and third. Nobody out here in the top of the first.
I feel like as far as high school baseball, it seems rare to see a DH right at the meat of the batting order.
You're right, and Ryan Hinckley is the DH for Weston. He is batting in the place of their starting pitcher. Big rip at that one. Count goes to 1-2. Aiden Lawler is the starting pitcher today for Weston. But as we've seen in the past, there's a lot of coaching strategy involved here. Another ball up high, 2-2. Dylan Conley, first baseman, is on deck for Weston. Nobody out here in the top of the first inning. That one's pounded down the left field line. Just foul.
Good hustle by Hanono to make sure to protect that foul line.
Count remains 2-2 on Ryan Hinckley. I want to say hello to our friends out in Weston. If you've tuned in today to watch us here on YouTube, glad you're along for the ride. Another breaking ball up high, full count.
Yeah, especially a game happening at noon. A lot of people got, the regular 9 to 5s. It's, going to be a little bit difficult to come out to a game like this.
And another one ripped foul down the left side. That one's out of play. Leaves are starting to come out in full force here in Northfield. Based on the winter we had, they said that would never happen.
You mean the winter we had Monday?
Holy macaroni and cheese. Ball 4, bases are loaded. That was a unique experience, Tyler.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the wind is still out here, and I got to admit I was expecting it to be a little bit warmer, but with the wind, I am regretting not putting on my long sleeve shorts. But, the sun is out, and it's not snowing, so I'll take what I can get.
This is first baseman Dylan Conley rips that first pitch foul down the left side. 0-1. Now, the weather's been crazy, and the wind, we say practically every game we ever cover here, no matter the sport, that it just seems like we've got a wind tunnel here. I hear the rumor is they're going to rename the field Category 5 Stadium. It's outside. It's 1-1 on Conley. Been hearing from a lot of friends that have been watching us on YouTube. Lofted down the right side. Fair ball. Tommy Clary getting after it. 1 run in. 2 runs in. Back to runners on second and third. Weston. No, my mistake. Yeah, I didn't see the guy at first base. E.T. was screening me. Use a hockey term there. So Weston remains with the bases loaded. Still nobody out. This is Massimo Buckbinder. He's the catcher for Weston. Bases loaded, nobody out. This is the 6th batter of the first inning. That one's fouled away. High and away. Nice pitch by Carter. Just catches the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Massimo. He's going to be followed by the left fielder Cole Murphy here in the top of the first. In the dirt, nice block. Oh, gets through Tad. Runner from third comes in and scores. That makes it 3-0. Thought Tad had that one, just scooted under him. Counts full on the Wildcats catcher. It's popped up, E.T. giving chase. Can't quite get the glove on it. And that could be one of those things, Tyler, where the wind, just the way it changes here from really second to second. I know it's been behind us for a while. Look at the flag now. It's just hanging limp, but I felt it swirl, so I think E.T. might have lost that one to the wind.
No, you're absolutely right. It's such a funky thing. You know, you feel it down here, but popping the ball up any higher, it does some real funky things, and sometimes it's really hard to track that down. And, you know, another thing that is different is rarely do we have games that are happening at noon. And one of the things about that is the sun is kind of in a different place. Usually these games are happening at 4 p.m. or later. The sun is going down over the right field woods.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm sorry, left field woods. And it's just a whole different, I mean, even from a camera angle, you're looking at all the shadows that you're seeing from this pitcher cam. Usually that's just nice and bright and illuminated, and that's because the sun is shining directly on their backs. But it can just be a weird thing with the pop flies that we normally don't have to deal with.
Hodis has that one. Runner tags from third. He's going to score. Conley tags and advances. Wildcats now take a 4-0 lead. We've got one out here in the top of the first inning. This is third baseman Johnny Dickey. Takes that one up high for ball 1. And Buckbinder steals second base. Puts runners at second and third with one out. Now goes to 3-0. With Evan Tipeniuk pitching that complete game on Monday, and then O.C. Ballard, long fly ball. It's over the head of Mauricio. Runner from third scores. Buckbinder, who was on second base, didn't know if that ball was going to be caught. He only advances to third. It's a stand-up double for Johnny Dickey. And Weston scores their 5th run of the inning. Still one out, runners on second and third. I started to say with E.T. pitching that complete game on Monday, and then O.C. Ballard going the distance on Wednesday at Franklin Tech, I'm not sure who's left in the bullpen, Tyler.
Well, we've seen Brody Welcome take the hill at one point. We saw Hayden Girard take the hill at one point. I think that as far as a pitching bench, there's still a lot of experimentation. Among the graduates last year, which, there were 6 field positions graduated.
Yep.
Most of them were starting pitchers.
Oh, that's for sure. And Carter Gary gets his first strikeout. Mateo Buckbinder goes down swinging. Back to the top of the order. This is where it all started. Ryuji Nawa, the right fielder. He had that bunt single to get this thing started. That one just missed. 1-0. And it looks like Jacoby is in on the grass this time, anticipating maybe another bunt. Outside, 2-0. Count goes to 3-0. Gary trying to pitch away from Nawa. He's doing so, but just missing the plate. And it's a 4-pitch walk. Ryuji gets on base for the second time here in the first inning. Back to the shortstop, Brody Kohler. He also bunted to get on base earlier in this first inning. Wildcats have batted around. Kohler is the 11th hitter this inning for Weston. Welcome's got it. Just barely got Aaron Muse dragging his foot across to get the force out at second, and that is going to retire the side. For Weston in the first, 5 runs on 4 base hits, 3 runners left. Panthers have their work cut out for them. It's 5-0. Weston on top. Don't go away. Panthers are going to have the bats in their hands in a moment right here on BNC TV. back. It's time for the bottom of the first inning here in Northfield. Gorgeous day. Wind has finally died down a little bit. Hoping to get to 60 degrees today. This is the leadoff hitter, Tad Loud. He's the catcher for Pioneer. Going to be followed by Aaron Muse and Evan Tipeniuk here in the bottom of the first. Hayden Lawler comes right down Broadway for strike one. Just nipped the corner, 0-2. Good pitch. Loud puts the bat on that. Rips it foul down the left field line. Count remains 0-2. It's interesting to watch Aiden Lawler's approach to pitching. Hides the ball behind him, and like a lot of major leaguers will do, grips the ball the way he wants before he puts it in his glove. Executes the pitch, just low and outside. 1-2 on Loud.
Well, not out of a sake of, peeking at his throws before he throws them, but it is very interesting to be able to kind of see that insight.
I'm going to say it's the great camera coverage we have here on BNC TV. And we are so happy to be bringing you this game today. Panthers in a 5-run hole early. And Loud wanted a swing. It was up around his eyes, held up. Appealed down to first base. First base umpire says, nope, he held up. Counts full.
I think that was a really good call. You want to check on that, but I think Tad Loud did a fantastic job of, holding his anticipation of going after that high pitch.
And Loud does a great job, works his way onto first base with a walk. Let's not forget the count was 0-2 on him.
Yeah, great job of coming out on base after being behind the count like that. Good patience.
Here's our second baseman, Aaron Muse. Aaron had 2 big base hits against Tech on Wednesday. Another one low in the dirt. Good block behind the plate by Massimo Buckbinder. One and 0 on Aaron. Looked to drag a bunt. Ball went behind him, foul. Counts 1-1.
Well, as I've talked about during other games, you always hate giving up the element of surprise that comes with a sudden bunt like that.
Oh, that's so true, Tyler. And looking back over at first base, Dylan Conley holding Tad Loud on. And even as Lawler gets into his motion, he doesn't relinquish that spot on the bag. So I'm sure that's what Aaron's looking at when he wants to push a bunt down the first base side. And called strike 2. One ball and 2 strikes. Pounded into the ground, deep shortstop. Nice pickup by Murphy, the second baseman. Throw from Kohler was in the dirt, but managed to get the force on Loud. Aaron Muse reaches on the fielder's choice, and there's one out. That'll bring up Evan Tipeniuk, Panthers first baseman. ET had 2 base hits and a run batted in on Wednesday in that 2-0 win at Franklin Tech. That one's outside. The win moved Pioneer to 3-5 on the season.
You know, after starting off with a tough opening of figuring a lot of things out, I think Pioneer has done a great job getting 3 out of the last 5 wins. You know, the bats have started to move. We started, you know, you look at that opening, those opening scores, Pioneer was having trouble getting the runs in, but, you know, you're seeing progress, and that's honestly very, very exciting with such a newer team. Sorry about that.
And it's a base hit out to center field by ET. Advances Muse to second base. Panthers working on a little threat here. Runners on first and second with just 1 out. Brings up shortstop Brody Welcome. And to your point, Tyler, this is one of those things that early on, a lot of the student athletes wearing Panther black and gold might not have been too sure of themselves out there in a varsity environment for the first time. But nothing breeds success like confidence, and they're playing a much more confident brand of baseball now. And hopefully good things are to come for the Panthers the rest of the way. I saw Brody Welcome in the batting cage before we got started today. He puts the bat on the ball. That's out to left field. That's a base hit. Runners hold up. Muse at third. ET advances to second. Panthers with the bases loaded with just 1 out. Brody Welcome with that first ball hitting. Brings up left fielder Mauricio Hinono. Mauricio, new to the Panther family this season. He's been a constant contributor.
He's definitely gotten the bat on the ball, and I think that's exactly who you need right now with 1 out and bases loaded.
Yeah, a single in the right place is going to result in 2 Panther runs here, and suddenly that 5-run gap is closed down to just 3, and that's manageable. Low in the dirt, gets away. Muse comes home, dives in head first. He's safe. Panthers are on the board.
All other runners advance as well. So we still got 2 in scoring position.
Runners on second and third, and the aforementioned single by Mauricio now could result in 2 more runs scoring and cutting that gap just down to 2 runs. Just got the outside corner with that one. Great location on that pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Grounder to third. Third baseman saw ET break for the plate, threw to the catcher. If you're scoring at home, that one goes 5-2-5 on the putout. Brody Welcome remains at second base. Mauricio on with the fielder's choice. And there's 2 outs, runners on first and second. Center fielder Hayden Gerard at the plate. You see Brody Welcome taking that healthy lead off of second. That one's just at the top of the strike zone for strike 1. High and inside, it's 1-1. DH O.C. Ballard is on deck for the Panthers. Another one high and inside. 2-1 on Hodis. Tried to time that changeup, fouled it back. It's 2-2. Just got a piece of that one to stay alive. Count remains 2-2. As you can see, Aiden Lawler working from the stretch now. Affords him the opportunity to kind of keep an eye on Brody Welcome out at second base. Gets his sign. Pounded down to Dickey over at third base. Just because over touches the bag for the force, that's going to retire the side. Panthers do get on the board. 1 run on 2 base hits. 1 runner left. 1 inning complete here in Northfield. Weston 5, Pioneer 1. Don't go anywhere. More Panther baseball coming right up here on BNC TV. Time for the top of the second inning. Aiden Murphy, first pitch swinging. It's a base hit into left field. That's Aiden's second hit today. Doubled and scored in that big first inning for the Wildcats. Pioneer made a good accounting of themselves in the bottom of the first. Pushing 1 run across. Had a nice little threat going. Carter Gary's show me move over to first base. Making sure Murphy knows he's paying attention to him. This is Ryan Hinckley, the designated hitter. Just missed outside. 1-0. Hinckley walked and scored in the first inning. Pitch up high. Tad Loud threw down to Tipeniuk at first base. Murphy back standing up safely. Good defensive mind to let the runner know that Panther defense is paying attention to him out there. That one misses outside.
Well, after a really intimidating, top of the first, I wonder if Weston is feeling that at bat they can be a little more emboldened. So Pioneer stepping up and being aggressive with the base runner attention and whatnot might try to,
Well, that's a good observation, and the fact of the matter is, because the Panthers put up a solid bottom of the first inning, they proved that they're not going away just because they gave up 5 runs in the first inning. This is Dylan Conley, first baseman for Weston. Dylan had that big double back in the first inning. Breaking ball goes inside. Conley watched it. It's 2 balls and a strike. Still seeing a lot of off-speed pitches from Carter Gary here in the top of the second. Inside for ball 4, bases are loaded. Tad Loud calls time. Comes out to have a conference with the infield. Coach Kevin Leupold out there. I would imagine Coach is telling the boys just to settle down. Give Weston some pitches to hit and let the defense do their job.
You can't make anything happen if it's always walks. You gotta just find a way to get the ball in there, give them something that they can swing at if they hit it. And I think the Pioneer Panthers are up to the task to do what they can in the field.
Yeah, and it's been said that the base on balls is also a free pass, and there's no defense for that. So with the bases loaded, this is Massimo Buckbinder, the catcher. He takes that one up high for ball 1. Massimo walked in the first inning. Tried timing that one, swung and missed, 1-1. That's the other thing about a lot of these off-speed pitches, Tyler. A lot of batters are used to seeing a modicum of fastballs come in. High fly ball out to center field. Hodis is there. Runner tags at third. Throws cut off in the infield. Another run in for Weston at 6-1. So that's a sacrifice fly and a run batted in for Buckbinder. And then showing some aggressive base running of their own. Double steal.
Seemed like that steal started really, really early.
Yeah, Carter was so focused on the batter that he didn't look. That's a fair ball down the right field line. 2 more runs in. Weston takes an 8-1 lead. 2 runs batted in for Cole Murphy. And that brings up Johnny Dickey, the third baseman. Good pitch by Gary. Strike one. Dickey doubled and drove in a run in the first inning. Another stolen base here. Cole Murphy advances to second. And that one's pounded foul. It's going to be 1-2 on Wildcats' third baseman.
Looks like maybe twisted his ankle on the hit, or maybe it fouled into his foot, perhaps. But
I think you're right. I think you're right, Tyler. I think he did hit it off. He fouled it off his foot because it seemed to go in a strange direction after the contact was made.
Ouch. Never like having that happen. I mean, getting hit by a pitch, you're looking at a average velocity, high school ball about, 65 something miles an hour. And then, but the amount of velocity coming off of that transfer of energy on a hit into the foot, that just does not feel good.
No, and I know in Major League Baseball now, one of the big stats that makes everybody bigger and stronger is exit velocity for home runs off a baseball bat, and anything over 105 to 110 miles an hour isn't unusual. So, let's dial it back here for high school sports and say even if you hit yourself in the top of the foot at 80 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dickey's back in the box. You see Cole Murphy leading off second. Another off-speed pitch, low and away. It's 2-2. Pops up that high, hard one. Stumpo's got there, puts it away. And that's 2 out. Brings up Mateo Buckbinder, the center fielder. Mateo struck out in the first inning. We've got 2 outs here in the top of the second. Wildcats on top, 8-1. Good block by Tad Loud. High fly ball out to left field. Mauricio makes the running catch. That's going to retire the side. 3 more runs for Weston in the second. 1 runner left in the middle of the second inning. Weston leads this one 8-1. Stay tuned for more Panther baseball right here on BNC TV.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. we are back with the Panthers half of the second inning. Panthers down in this one 8-1. O.C. Ballard, today's DH for Pioneer, at the plate. Turned in a solid pitching performance on Wednesday over at Franklin Tech. Going the distance and shutting out the Eagles 2-0.
So far, the past few games that BNC TV has covered, OC's bat has been coming through really nicely in the clutch.
OC's been a nice addition to the Panther lineup this season. And again, as we were talking before, as the Panthers continue to gain some confidence as the season wears on, OC's going to be one of those guys that is really relied upon to be a big contributor for the team. Counts 2-2. Great pitch by Lawler. Just caught the bottom of the strike zone, froze OC. Called strike 3. One out. Here's the Pioneer pitcher, Carter Gary. Carter looking to help his cause here. Lawler took a little off that one, 0-1. It's low and inside, 1-1. Tommy Clary's on deck for Pioneer. And then it'll be back to the top of the order and Tad Loud. Carter Gary showing some patience at the plate, 2-1. Good pitch by Lawler. Variation of a cutter up there. Count goes to 2-2. Wanted to see if he could get Carter to reach for that one outside. Full count on Gary. Swung on and missed, strike 3.
Kind of sounded like I heard a sliver of connection on the bat.
Yeah, you're right. I saw the umpire signal that it was a foul tip into the mitt. Buckbinder held on. Same result. That one's way outside. This is right fielder Tommy Clary, wearing lucky number 13 on his jersey. And Lawler comes back inside. It's 2-0.
Got to admit, that jersey number is kind of after my own heart. I was always one that wanted number 13 just to kind of, buck the unluckiness, so to speak, or challenge it.
That one's popped up. Second baseman Murphy's there. He puts that one away. That's going to retire the side. 3 up, 3 down for the Panthers here in the second. At the end of 2 complete innings, Weston leads this one 8-1. Stay tuned. Check out our sponsors. Patronize them if you can. And we'll be back with more Panther baseball right here on BNC TV. welcome back. Time for the top of the third inning. Weston on top, 8-1. This is the top of the order again for the Wildcats. Ryuji Nawa lofts a single out into left center field. It is his third time on base already today. Getting things started for the Wildcats. Weston with 5 runs in the first, 3 in the second. Shortstop Brody Kohler at the plate. In the first inning, Brody singled, and then on a fielder's choice, ended the inning. Rips one into left field. Looks like Brody Welcome might have got a piece of that one. Line drive single. Wildcats with first 2 runners on here in the top of the third inning.
Well, just like the last 2 innings, the Wildcats have done a fantastic job with their leadoff batters, just getting on base and getting themselves set up that, you know, they're in the position to have some easy scores.
And it's another double steal. You're exactly right, Tyler. You know, once you get the leadoff batter or first 2 batters on to start an inning, you know, that offensive team is in control. Welcome over to first base. Got the runner. 1 runner scores. Makes it 9-1. Runner advances to third base. Kohler's over there at third now. This is Ryan Hinckley, the DH. So far today, Ryan has walked twice and scored 2 runs. That one's high and away. Something else to keep in mind is that these Weston Wildcats play in Maya D3 for their league baseball. Nice pitch on the outside corner. Throw back goes over Carter's head. No worse for the wear. 3 balls and a strike on Hinckley. Another run scores. Welcome over to ET. And we've got 2 out. And with 2 out, that's going to bring up first baseman Dylan Conley. Conley's been on base twice today, double and scored in the first. Then walked and scored last inning. Nice pitch by Carter. 1 strike. You know, to look quickly at Dylan Conley reminds me a lot of Aaron Judge of the Yankees. Ball bounces off of Tad's glove.
It's the same batting style?
Tall, same batting style. Definitely reminiscent of Judge. welcome again. Makes a great play over there at shortstop. Conley was already at first base, though, so that's an infield base hit. Scratch single for Conley. His third time on base today. Brings up the catcher, Massimo Buckbinder. Massimo's 0 for 1 today. Ground ball, Stumpo's got it. Long throw was short. E.T., nice job scooping it out of the dirt. That's going to retire the side.
E.T. with that patented split that we've grown accustomed to see.
In a most painful manner. 2 more runs for Weston in the top of the third. We're going to take a break here on BNC TV. Weston leads this one 10-1. Please check out our sponsors and don't go anywhere. More Panther baseball coming back in just a moment. Welcome back, folks. Bottom of the third inning here in Northfield. Tad Loud leading things off for Pioneer. It is still Aiden Lawler on the mound for Weston. That one's outside. It's 2-0. Tad reached in the first inning on a walk. Lawler trying to pick his spots. Missed outside again. It's 3-0. And it's low in the dirt, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Tad Loud, his second one of the day. As we were saying last inning, Tyler, it's always good to get that leadoff runner on, and Panthers are going to need a lot of that today. Brings up Aaron Muse, the second baseman. Aaron reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. It's rip foul down the left side. Next game for the Panthers is going to be Monday afternoon, 4 o'clock tilt out at Hopkins Academy in Hadley.
Yeah, Pioneer is going on the road for all of next week.
Yeah, after the Monday game, it's down to Veterans Field in Greenfield to take on the Green Wave. And then the roadie culminates with a big one next Saturday.
I will say the weather is not looking too favorable, but that is a week away, and this is still, well, technically not New England when it's in Cooperstown, but still experiencing that kind of schizophrenic weather that we in New England are accustomed to.
Another ball on Aaron, counts 2-2 as Tad steals second base. And you're absolutely right, that game 1 week from tomorrow, a rematch with the Turners Falls Thunder, going to take place at Doubleday Field in Cooperstown, New York. 1:30 p.m. first pitch in that one. Certainly looking forward to that rematch.
Still got to figure out some of the details on that one, such as Wi-Fi capabilities out there. BNC TV is planning on going, but there's still a lot to figure out. Whether or not we can bring that game live back here to the Pioneer Valley Regional Community. But really excited for that. It's going to be a fun time out there.
And that one's outside, ball 4. These first two batters in the bottom of the third, it looks almost like Aiden Lawler's trying to be too fine out there, to the point where he's just missing with his location. So with runners on first and second, nobody out, here's first baseman Evan Tipeniuk. E.T. had a single in the first inning. He takes ball 1. Just missed outside, 2-0. Pitchers are sometimes creatures of habit, and I noticed that Lawler's out there just short sleeves. Well, it's not a cold day by any stretch. It is windy, and it's fouled down the left field line. And you wonder if the wind is affecting his body temperature at all. Because I noticed a lot of the Panther players are still wearing the head socks that they had on during Monday's game. Lawler misses low. It's 3-1. Shortstop Brody Welcome on deck for the Panthers. High fly ball out to left center field. Mateo Buckbinder makes the running catch. And there's one out.
Boy, nice catch. That was a real nice catch by Buckbinder. Also, that kind of catch, as deep as it was, didn't leave any room for some tag-up base advancement for the runners. Still on first and second.
Easy for you to say. Usually that's my job, Tyler. And the other Buckbinder comes out to have a brief conference with Lawler, maybe suggesting he pay attention to Tad Loud over at second base. And there you see Brody Welcome still wearing that head sock from Monday. Another one low and outside for 2-0. Is number 12, Tad Loud, leading off second. Swung right through that one. It was a good pitch by Lawler. 2-1. Actually, it's 1-1. Now it's 2-1. I was just forecasting the future, Tyler.
Absolutely. It's a rare occurrence that my count was on point.
2-1 on Brody Welcome. Just caught the uppermost portion of the inside corner. 2-2. Mauricio Hinono will be next up for Pioneer. Mauricio had 2 hits against Franklin Tech on Wednesday. Low and away, counts full. Buckbinder blocked it and kept it in his general vicinity. Foul ball down the first base line. A lot of the swings that Brody Welcome takes reminds me a lot of Ethan Quinn. Just swings from the heels, doesn't get cheated on it. And when he commits, he commits. Just picked the outside corner. Great pitch from Lawler. Called strike 3. That's Lawler's 3rd strikeout on the day. Brings up Mauricio Hinono, the left fielder. He reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Panthers, runners on first and second with 2 out. Ground ball second. Over to the shortstop, covering the bag. That's going to retire the side. We have 3 innings complete here in Northfield. Pioneer on the short end. Weston 10, Pioneer 1. Stay with us for more Panther baseball. Check out our sponsors and don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment right here on BNC TV and worldwide on YouTube. of the fourth inning. See the Panther infield rally around.
Changes.
And we've got Hodis on the mound now. Hodis takes over for Carter Gary.
Mikey. Tommy.
Got some wholesale changes, Tyler. I see you flagging numbers down out here.
Looks like we got Mike Sajowski out in right field. And that pushes Tommy Clary over to center.
I still see 11 and 5 on this side of the infield. See number 4 over at third base, and that's still Jacoby.
Yeah, still Brody Welcome.
Yes.
I have no reason to believe that Tad and Mauricio have switched.
Right. So maybe that wasn't wholesale changes. We'll go with mini mart changes.
Well, a non-league game like this is, you know, as good an opportunity as any to move some things around, have some experimentation with, you know, different positions, give other players some opportunities on the field.
And good pitch by Gerard. Drops in for strike one. First batter was Cole Murphy. He reached first base on a walk. This is Johnny Dickey, the third baseman. And foul off the knob of the bat.
It's definitely a weird feeling on there. Looks like the batter's kind of shaking his hands off a bit.
Yeah, because while it did hit the knob of the bat, you look and see how close those hands are to it. So, except for maybe an inch and a half, he might as well have gotten hit in the hand. So, looks like Johnny's able to shake it off. Steps back in. Counts 0-2. Ground ball foul picked up just outside the line by Stumpo. Murphy back to first base. We're going to do this one all over again. Count remains 0-2. Dickey doubled and drove in a run in the first inning. Popped up over there to Stumpo in the second. Otis helping his own cause. Leaped high for that one. Turned around. Threw it to Aaron Muse covering second. Forced the runner.
Nice job getting the lead runner on that. I think the past few innings, you know, Pioneer has allowed a few of the leadoff batters to kind of get into scoring position, and that's turned into kind of a detriment to them. But nice job, Hayden Gerard, playing that game, knowing Muse was there and getting that lead runner.
That's good defensive awareness right there. Just missed. This is center fielder Mateo Buckbinder. He's got a 2-0 count. Popped up out to left field. Yeah, Mauricio's there to put that one away. Two outs, back to the top of the order. Ryuichi Nawa, the right fielder for Weston. one just missed, ball one. We are in the top of the fourth inning here in Northfield. Glad you're with us for some Friday lunchtime baseball.
And other than being a bit chilly and a bit windy, it is a beautiful afternoon. I don't see a cloud in the sky.
No, you're right. It's a beautiful day for baseball, and I can tell that spring is really right around the corner because we don't have hand warmers with us today, Tyler.
That is a good signal.
I think we've had hand warmers at all our previous games so far this season.
Oof. I love it when we settle into that meat of the baseball season in May, and things are just a little nice and warm, and some nice short sleeve weather. Boy, it's a beautiful time to be able to be doing what we do out here.
I know we had talked about polo shirt and shorts weather, but based on what we saw on Monday, you got to think it's just never going to come. And that's a walk for Nawa, his fourth time on base so far today. Moves Johnny Dickey up to second. And with 2 outs, runners on first and second, brings up shortstop Brody Kohler. Brody's got 2 singles today. And good pitch by Hodis for strike one. Good pitch. Two strikes on Kohler as the 126 goes by here in Northfield. Late swing fouled back into Souvenir Country. Count remains 0-2. Hodis thought he had it, just missed up high. 1-2 on Kohler. Just missed the outside corner. Hayden Girard just off by a fraction of an inch.
He's been doing a great job of placing that ball just on the, it could go either way kind of area. Really hoping to get the batter to chase that one.
And it's inside for ball 4.
Ooh, I was off. Excuse me.
Loads the bases for second baseman Aiden Murphy. We've got 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Wildcats with a 9-run lead. Breaking pitch outside for ball 1. Took a little off. That one was up high. Two 2-0 on Murphy. Panthers have nowhere to put him. Pounded into the ground. Welcome's got it. Over to first base. That's going to retire the side. Nice defensive play by Brody Welcome.
Nice job getting themselves out of bases loaded like that. First inning with nothing on the board.
You got that right. For Weston in the top of the fourth. No runs, no base hits, 3 runners left. We're in the middle of the fourth. Weston leads this one 10-1. Stay with us for more Panther baseball right here on BNC TV. Time for the bottom of the fourth inning. This is Pioneer pitcher Hayden Girard at the plate. Hayden started the day in center field. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the first inning. It's his first plate appearance since then. 2-0. Took over the mound duties in the top half of the fourth. Managed to keep Weston off the board in that frame. Got a few defensive changes for Weston. His count goes to 3-0. In right field now we have Beckett Tower. The former right fielder Ryuji Nawa has moved over to center field. And your left fielder now is Arav Patel. Infield still looks the same for Weston. And that's the I dare you pitch, 3-1. Hodes taking all the way on that one, wisely. Line drive over the left fielder's head. It's all the way to the fence. Hodes circles first. Slides into second, safely with a double. He saw his pitch and he took advantage of it.
Boy, great job. What a great way to lead off this inning.
Just a solid rip out into left field. It was his way of saying, welcome to the game, Arav Patel. Brings up O.C. Ballard. O.C. was caught looking back in the second inning. You see Hodes leading off second. Getting out of the frame, you know, that's a good lead.
Well, as mentioned in between innings a little while ago, with this 10-1 lead, it doesn't seem like the Wildcats are too concerned with picking off at the bag. So that's leading towards any Pioneer base runner having the luxury of taking that extended lead.
You know, it's a good point, but also by the same token, you know, unless you have the bases loaded and hit a grand slam, you've got to score 1 run at a time. So, you know, it looked a little low, but It's called strike on OC. But chipping away at a 9-run deficit, and a couple runs here, a couple runs there, and suddenly it's a competitive game again. 3 balls and a strike on OC. He's going to be followed. Well, he might be followed. Well, he'll be followed by somebody. Carter Gary is scheduled to hit. We can't see who's in the on-deck circle. Possibly Mike Syhowski. OC gets all of that one way out to left field. Over the fence, it's a home run. OC Ballard connects. We couldn't quite see where it ended up, but that had to be almost into the woods. As I was just saying, Tyler, there's 2 runs chipped off. Makes it 10-3. OC Ballard crushed that one. That one went all the way out to Gill.
I might pick it up on my way home. But, yeah, usually something like that, if it's so lost that I can't even see where it's coming down, then that is definitely hitting, into the trees. And, we see one player there, not player, but one Pioneer fan heading out there to try and find that ball.
They're heretofore going to be labeled super fan. They're out in the long stuff over there. It looks like they found it.
Well, did not head into the trees, but I guess the idea is that it was hit high and hard for it to come down that hard and not roll into the woods. So quite the home run for OC Ballard.
And it is Mike Syhowski at the plate. First look at Mike at bat this season. He's going to have to get to work. Those pants are awfully clean. Foul down the left side. Yeah, Mike steps out, recalibrates. Another one down the left side, foul.
Well, maybe I haven't been paying as close attention as I need to, but I've noticed this game that the dugout, the Pioneer dugout jargon is, loud and fresh. And Syhowski,
caught looking.
But we've grown accustomed to all sorts of groans and grunts and yellings coming from that dugout, and then it's nice to hear they're still throwing all that nonsense out.
Gotta love the nonsense. Tommy Clary at the plate. Tommy moved from right field over to center with those defensive changes in the top half of the 4th inning. And misses up high. Tommy popped out to the second baseman in the 2nd inning. That's his only plate appearance so far today. Good eye on that one. It's low in the dirt. Another one misses low. Now it's 3-1. We've got one out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And that's up high for ball 4. With one out, back to the top of the Panther order, Tad Loud, scheduled to hit. And we may have a pitching change here for Weston, as it looks like Johnny Dickey is going to take the mound. This could be just a 1-for-1 change, as I see Aiden Lawler over towards the third base sign of that conference. Panthers threatening here in the bottom of the fourth, chipping away at that big Weston lead. Watch Johnny Dickey take some warm-up throws here. You know, again, unfortunately, it's hard to come by for high school sports statistics here in the Commonwealth. So other than the fact that we know that Weston came into this game 4 wins, 2 losses on the campaign, not really sure how, who, or when. But they do look like a seasoned ball club, Tyler.
Absolutely do. And we'll go off on a tangent now, because normally when I try to do this during the regular part of the game, this is when the bats start hitting or the final out of the inning happens, and it curbs what I want to say. But would like to, those tuning in the Pioneer Valley regional area, or wherever you're tuning in to this game on the HD 1075 broadcast on your cable dial or on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Love having you here to support public access and, more importantly, these high school athletes. But this broadcast wouldn't be possible without our wonderful local business sponsors. And if you've had an opportunity in between the innings to see, we're talking Sam Browning Jr. Trucking, Sweet Lucy's Bakeshop, Works LTD, the tree experts, Wiggin Hydroseeding, Zilinksi HVAC, DiGeorge Builders right here in Bernardston, and Greenfield Cooperative Bank. So thankful to be partnered up with those local businesses. Helps us do what we do, bringing this broadcast to you.
Indeed, we certainly couldn't do the volume of games that are broadcast here on BNC TV without that local support. So sincere thanks to all of our sponsors.
I will say I don't think that we saw much warming up in between innings for Johnny Dickey. So this, didn't see him kind of on the sidelines while the Wildcats were up to bat getting his arm ready. So it's a tall order to have to suddenly come, off of your position in the field and take the hill and only throw, a handful of pitches. I don't know, it seemed like he threw maybe a dozen. And that's hardly a decent warm-up getting your arm ready.
And that one's inside. This is Tad Loud at the plate. Three balls and a strike on Tad. We are in the bottom of the fourth inning. Low in the dirt for ball 4. That'll move Tommy Clary over to second base. There you see Tommy. Aaron Muse at the plate now. Aaron's been on base a couple of times today. as he takes strike one. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored back in the first inning. Reached on a walk in the third. Looks like Johnny Dickey's motion, once he gets started, Tyler, is more of a straight overhand rather than a 3/4. I'm going to say that he's probably pitched before, but it's a motion that we don't see often here in high school baseball.
And you're talking about, like, if you think of the rotation of a clock from the view that you're seeing right now, talking about his arm coming more at a 12 o'clock throw than the general about 2 or even.
Yep. Two balls and 2 strikes on Aaron Muse. Took a little off that one. Full count. Blew it right by him for strike 3. Great pitch. Two outs in the Panther 4th inning. Brings up Evan Tipeniuk. E.T. singled in the first and lined out to center field in the third. He's working with runners on first and second. That one got away from him, 1-1. Sliced into right field. That's a base hit. Clary being waved around. He scores. Loud over to third. Panthers have cut the lead to 6. It's 10-4. Good base running by Tad Loud to get all the way over to third base.
Well, one of the benefits of having the 2 outs is knowing that you just got to go. And no need to kind of see where the ball is or tag up or anything. You just turn on the jets and keep going until you hear the umpire calling out.
Ball gets by the catcher. Tad slides in safely. It's 10-5. E.T. advances to second on the wild pitch. Brody Welcome is the 8th batter of the inning for the Panthers. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Misses inside. Nice block by Buckbinder behind the plate as the count goes to 3-1. There you see Evan Tipeniuk, number 11. You know, he's got a healthy lead out there. Wild pitch for ball 4. Ball was out of play, so umpire held up the runners. Welcome at first. E.T. over at third.
Apologize, I had the wrong base runner signals up, but it all worked out. They just matched up with what we have now, runners on the corners.
And here is Mauricio Hinono. Welcome dives back into first.
Well, we mentioned something earlier that they weren't bothering covering the bags. Now I couldn't help but say that Pioneer might have the Wildcats just a little bit worried, because now they're definitely playing the pickoff game.
Yeah, and I think Brody Welcome is looking to draw that throw over there, because the throw gets past the first baseman. It looks like E.T. is going to be able to score from third base. Low and inside. Dickey took a little off that, caught the outside corner. Two balls and a strike on Hinono. Two outs here in the Panther fourth. Fouled back out of play, 2-2. High and away, it's a full count now. Bluffed over to third, turned around. Welcome was leaning the wrong way. He got picked off. That's going to end the inning. Just a tough way to end that inning. But you can't fault Brody Welcome at all. You know, seeing that the move looked like it was going to go over to third base. Dickey had taken his foot off the rubber. He was in full compliance there. Turned and made that play, so Welcome picked off at first. That's going to retire the side. 4 big runs for the Panthers in the 4th inning after 4 complete. Weston leads this one 10-5. Please check out our sponsors. We love them dearly. Stay tuned for more Panther baseball right here on BNC TV. Top of the 5th inning here in Northfield. Panthers with a big 4th, closing that gap down to 5 runs. See Hayden Gerard on the mound, his 2nd inning of relief. Relieving Carter Gary. Got some activity. Oh,
sorry. Took your attention away for something else, and definitely gets batter.
Hit batsman. Hit by pitch. HBP. So Ryan Hinckley is on first. I was glancing over. We've got some activity in the Weston bullpen. It is Brody Kohler, number 3, currently the shortstop. Looks like he's loosening up. We may see him in the bottom of the 5th. Pounded into the ground by Dylan Conley. And it was deep in the hole. Welcome couldn't make a play. Everybody safe. An infield hit puts runners on first and second. Nobody out. It's going to bring up the catcher, Massimo Buckbinder. Just as the wind picks back up here in Northfield. Popped straight up. Mauricio puts it away. And that's going to bring up Cole Murphy, the left fielder. No, I take it back. We had that substitution. This is R.F. Patel batting in place of Cole Murphy. Drops a bunt and a beauty. Run scores. Panthers defense came unraveled there. Otis fielded the bunt, really didn't have anywhere to go. By the time somebody came over to cover first base, the throw went past E.T. Run scores. It's 11-5. And Weston has runners at the corners with 1 out. And this is Johnny Dickey. Pitched last inning for Weston. He lofts a fly ball out. Tommy Clary's got it in center field. Runner on third tags. Great throw back in by Clary. Run scores, and it's 12-5.
Definitely almost seems like Weston, after that first inning, they started to kind of get a little bit relaxed and thought that the game was going to be handed off to them. And then Pioneer had just a phenomenal bottom of the 4th inning, you know, cutting Weston's lead in half. And then I think it just spooked them just enough and kind of got, you know, Weston looks like they're, you know, back to playing, you know, the way their first inning was.
This is Beckett Tower. First time at the plate for Beckett today. He went in to take over right field last inning as Ryuji Nawa moved over to center. We've got 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. Weston scratching 2 runs back. They're up on top 12-5 now. Pop that one up. And Aaron Muse fading out into right field puts that one away. That's going to retire the side for Weston in the 5th. 2 runs, 1 base hit, 1 Panther error, 2 runners left. In the middle of the 5th, Weston 12, Pioneer 5. Don't go anywhere. More Panther baseball coming right up here on BNC TV. Bottom of the 5th inning. Mauricio Hinono lines one down the left field line. He's going to take 2. He's in standing with a double. First pitch swinging by Mauricio Hinono. Panthers threatening right off the bat.
Not a bad way to start off your inning, especially after such a successful inning they had in the bottom of the 4th. Really got the bats going, caught things up. I think startled Weston a little bit.
Yeah, and if you're wondering at home why Hinono started the inning, he was at the plate when Brody Welcome was picked off to end the 4th inning, so he gets his at-bat over again. And here is Hayden Girard. Hayden hit a double and scored his last time at the plate. Still have Johnny Dickey on the mound for Weston. Although we saw Brody Kohler warming up in between innings. Fly ball out to left field. That drops in for a base hit. Hinono was unsure if it was going to be caught, so he held his position there at second base. Panthers have the first 2 batters on, runners at first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brings up O.C. Ballard. We all know what he did last time at the plate. Hit a big 2-run homer. One's high and inside. And he was the last batter faced by Aiden Lawler before Johnny Dickey came in. One's outside, 2-0. Drop that one in. Good pitch for strike 1, 2-1. Just missed down low. 3-1. I have a feeling if OC sees his pitch here, things are going to happen, Tyler.
I do think Weston is very well aware that they do not want to place the ball anywhere that's a convenient place for OC to repeat last inning.
A little bit of a cutter there from Johnny Dickey. Count goes full. High and away, that's ball 4. It's going to load the bases. And you're exactly right. When it came right down to it, he didn't want to give Osi anything that he could hit. Bases loaded for Mike Syhowski. Mike took over in right field last inning. Saw a few defensive changes for Pioneer. Takes that one up high. Fouled back, 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3.
Oh, that is the way you want to go down. Good cut, just couldn't make the connection.
Brings up Tommy Clary. Tommy was part of those defensive moves. He had started in right field. Now he's over in center, and he got to show a little of his defensive aptitude in the top half of the inning. He takes ball 1 outside. Tommy's 0 for 1 today. Popped up to the second baseman in the second inning and walked in the fourth. It's fouled back. We've got one out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Tad Loud scheduled to hit next for Pioneer. Low and away, good stop by Buckbinder. He's been busy behind the plate today. 2 balls and a strike on Clary. Popped up in the infield. Dickey's there and he puts it away. And with 2 outs, going to bring up Tad Loud, the catcher. Bases remain loaded. Tad has the trifecta today. He's had 3 walks. He'd certainly take another one here. There's ball 1.
Yeah, as we head to the top of the batting order and, you know, the meat of the batting order, if Tad follows suit and gets the walk, this is a tough situation for Weston to be in with the bases loaded.
Good pitch. 1-2. And if you look at this ball game from the 3rd inning on, it's been tied 4-4. It was just a tough start. Called strike 3, and that's going to retire the side. Big strikeout by Johnny Dickey. In the 5th, no runs for the Panthers. 2 base hits, 3 big runners left. After 5 complete, Weston leads this one 12-5. Stay with us. We've got a lot more Panther baseball coming up right here on BNC TV. Top of the 6th inning here in Northfield on the campus of the Pioneer Valley Regional School. Lou Bordeaux and Tyler Borbo with you here today on this epic showdown. What else can you call a game that's already 2 hours and 10 minutes old, Tyler? Epic. It's an epic showdown. Weston on top 12-5. This is Ryuji Nawa at the plate. He's the center fielder for Weston. He's been on base all 4 times to the plate today.
Well, to go back to what you said, any game that goes past 2 hours means that, you know, both ball clubs have done a fantastic job in the batter's box.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say that we get paid overtime.
Well, that goes without saying.
I think the old joke is time and a half times 0 is still 0. So I guess the big question then is, are we just going to turn around and do the softball game later on?
Well, I don't believe there's a home softball game today.
See, somebody in Bernardston Town Hall told me there was a softball game today.
Not Varsity, as far as I know.
I've been misinformed. As Nawa takes a walk, that's the 5th time on base for him today.
I gotta admit, you got me worried now. I feel like I gotta check that out.
And yes, fans, Tyler's got his phone out. He's checking this desperately now. Shortstop Brody Kohler comes up to bat. This is Brody's 5th time to the plate today. Pounds one into the ground. Welcome over to second base. Good stop by E.T. on the wild throw over there. They did get the force runner. But Kohler reaches on the fielder's choice. Going to bring up Aiden Murphy.
No, the Lady Panthers are being hosted by Turner's Falls at 7 p.m. at Turner's.
Well, I apologize because I've been misinformed and I ran with it.
Well, that's according to Arbiter.
And Kohler goes unchecked. Tad tried to throw him out, but he had a pretty significant lead there. So a runner advances to second base for the Wildcats. Murphy rips one into left field. That's a base hit. Kohler held up by the third base coach. And that puts runners at the corners with just 1 out. Brings up the DH, Ryan Hinckley. Hinckley's 5th appearance at the plate today, but he's only 0 for 1. He's had 2 walks and was hit by a pitch. Going to be another stolen base here. Cut off by Brody Welcome in case the third base runner ran. So the Wildcats threatening here. Runners on second and third with just 1 out. Good pitch by Hodes, dropped right in. No balls, 2 strikes. Right over the head of the right fielder, Mike Syhowski. Two more runs in for Weston. Tough to say if the wind played a part in that because we just had one of those humongous gusts come up. Mike looked like he had a bead on it, and then it turned him around. in any event, it's a 2-run double for Ryan Hinckley. Good piece of hitting. Did that with 2 strikes on him. And that's going to extend the Weston lead to 14-5. Here's first baseman Dylan Conley. Conley's been on base all 4 times to the plate today. 1-1. Nice pitch. Drops right in to make it 1-2. You see Brody Welcome into shadow. Ryan Hinckley, the runner. Right off the fists back over the backstop. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I was going to say the connection on the bat looked noticeably lower on the neck. That can't feel too great.
Sliced out to right field. That's over Mike's head. Ball rolls under the fence. Another Weston run scores. That's going to be a ground rule double for Dylan Conley. That makes the score 15-5. Panthers in some dangerous territory here, Tyler. That 10-run gap.
Well, if my memory serves me, we are past the Mercy inning.
You are correct, sir. Here's the catcher, Massimo Buckbinder. He takes one up high. Massimo had a sacrifice fly back in the 2nd inning. Other than that, he's 0 for 2, even though this is his 5th plate appearance of the day. Three runs across so far here in the top of the 6th inning for Weston. Three and 0 on Buckbinder. He's going to take a walk. That puts runners at first and second. Head coach Kevin Leopold comes out to the mound to have a conference. Tough day at the office for the Panthers. Down by 10 late in the ball game. I would say at this point, Tyler, Hodis just needs to get the ball in play and eat some innings so that the other arms are saved for upcoming games.
Well, and I do see in the distance a little bit of warm-up by Asa Stebbins, who's not seen a ton of game time yet, but he is one of the youngest players on the varsity team. I do believe still in middle school. So he's an up-and-comer to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, good pitch by Hodis. And this is Cole Murphy back at the plate. Thought he came out of the game in favor of Patel. Ball gets passed loud. Runners advance. Second and third now with one out. Yeah, and back to Asa Stebbins warming up. This is, if he does come in, it's going to be a good opportunity to get some varsity innings under his belt.
And this would, if he does in fact come out to do some pitching this game, it's definitely going to point towards that, Coach Leopold, he's got a plan for, I think they got 3 games next week, all away. But, important league games. You got Hopkins, who's a tough team and a kind of a rivalry of Pioneer. See them often across the sports.
Nice foul tip into the mitt there to retire Murphy. There's 2 outs. No, you're saying
between
the game.
Hopkins and Greenfield and Turner's next week. They're all local league games, and just the weight of those, and wanting to have your main starting pitchers fresh, and don't want to eat into that pitch count of any of those players. So for this game, this is the game to get a little bit creative with your bullpen.
Yeah, that's so important, is to find some guys that can really just eat innings at this point. Not saying a 10-run lead is insurmountable, but I have seen stranger things happen. But, like I say, Asa Stebbins warming up over in the Panther bullpen with that heavy schedule again next week, 3 big road games. The Panthers are going to need somebody who is capable of giving them a couple innings here or there. It looks like at this point in the season, ET and OC are reliable starting pitchers. But we're still trying to find those middle inning relievers. Hodis has done well today. Just missed with that one. That's going to load him up. So with the bases loaded, and again, somebody who was subbed for earlier, it's Mateo Buckbinder's back in there again. He takes strike 1. Ripped that one into left field. It's a fair ball.
Boy, interesting. They are calling a ground rule double.
Yep.
Definitely an interesting situation. The ball hits fair, but then if we take a look at that, kind of had a little bit of English enough to kind of go foul. And normally we see that when, you know, that kind of troublesome thing, say at Fenway, if you're watching a Sox game, kind of goes at that weird angle into that dreaded corner in left field because of the English on the ball. But with this, you know, there's no fence or wall to stop it, so the ball started heading towards the edge of the trees, and I think that's what caused the ground roll double.
And that's sliced foul. This is Ryuji Nawa, his second time at bat this inning, as the Wildcats have batted around again here in the sixth. So far, they pushed 5 big runs across in this frame. Have opened up a 17-5 lead.
And that ground roll double did drive in 2, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They have runners now on second and third with 2 out. Oh, and 2 on Nawa. Swung on and missed for strike 3. It's going to retire the side. Add 5 more big runs for Weston in the 6th inning. In the middle of the 6th, Wildcats 17, Panthers 5. Please stay with us. Check out our sponsors. We'll be back with more Panther baseball in a moment, right here on BNC TV.
Bottom of the 6th inning, sorry.
Easy for you to say. Holy macaroni and cheese. It certainly is the bottom of the 6th inning. We are multitasking here on the scaffold today. This is Aaron Muse up there. Aaron reached on a fielder's choice back in the 1st inning. Took a walk in the 3rd and struck out in the 4th. Ground ball over to 3rd. First baseman couldn't quite handle that one. Long throw across the diamond by Aiden Lawler. Umpire was right there. Said that Dylan Conley bobbled it. But that's an infield hit for Aaron. Not going to call that an error. And we've got some activity.
Looks like some catcher's equipment malfunction, perhaps.
The dreaded equipment malfunction.
Now, with the amount of hockey coaching that you do and the amount of gear generally, especially having a son playing goalie, the ultimate gear, I assume that the The gear malfunction is plentiful.
Well, if you recall any of the games that Coach Bouchard did some color on with us, and my constantly being referred to as the skate doctor, it's also been the equipment doctor too, Tyler. ET ground ball. Lawler couldn't get the handle on that. That's going to be an E5 over there, but nevertheless, Panthers have runners on first and second to get the sixth inning started. Yeah, and the strange thing is, earlier in his life when my goalie was playing baseball, he caught for a few years, so I did learn how to fix catcher's equipment too. Ball gets past the catcher, runners advance.
I feel like if there was any two particular positions of two different sports that would feel similar, it would be catching and goalie in hockey.
That was the thought process, and I know Joshua loved playing baseball until he realized you also had to bat.
They didn't have the DH then?
Well, I don't know. It seems like a long time ago now.
I don't know. I feel like utilizing the DH, I never really saw that too often in all of the years of, between, summer ball and high school ball. Never really saw a lot of DH stuff in my time.
Right? It's outside. It's Brody Welcome at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count. Brody's 1 for 2 today. Throw a walk in there too. Kind of quiet here in Northfield right now. So quiet that Dickey stepped off. He sensed it. He knew it got quiet here.
A little too quiet, which is
unusual.
Which, if movies have served me well, when it's a little too quiet, that means that something is afoot.
Turns and throws.
And no doubt something was.
You're right. Evo dives back in safely. I'm going to try and work Evo in every once in a while. ET becomes too predictable.
Hey, if we can get that electronics company to sponsor us.
That's it, man. Overthrew that one. Run's going to score from third. Head first dive into home plate. Makes it 17-6. Tipeniuk advances to third on the wild pitch. Full count on Brody Welcome. Lawler's got it. Over to Conley.
Very advantageous for the Wildcats. Having a hit over to third base, your only runner is on third. You're able to make an easy check on the third base runner and then take the throw over to first.
Absolutely right. This is Mauricio Hinono, left fielder today for the Panthers. Had that nice double his last time at the plate. Panthers couldn't cash in, however, as they left the bases loaded. Good pitch by Dickey. 1-2 on Mauricio. Got one out here in the bottom of the 6th. 2-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. Brings up the pitcher, Hayden Girard. Otis had a fielder's choice in the 1st inning. Doubled and scored in the 4th. Singled his last time at the plate. He takes strike 1. Evan Tipeniuk lead off 3rd. That one's up high. Another one gets past Buckbinder. ET scores standing up. It's 17-7.
Well, coming into this, Pioneer had a few runners in scoring position and no outs, and things have climbed into 2 outs. And it's really nice that, unlike the last inning, Pioneer was able to get a couple people across the plate and clear those bases. So it's a little bit of a relief knowing that with no outs, you didn't leave anybody on base.
And Hodis is going to take a walk. You know, the other way to look at it, Tyler, is the Panthers have not scored a boatload of runs this season. And for them to be putting 7 on the board with more to come, hopefully, against a D3 opponent, that bodes well for the overall development of the team. Girard dives back in safely. More of that excellent camera coverage here on BNC TV.
I love it when just kind of putting the camera on something and then the action comes to the camera shot.
This is O.C. Ballard at the plate. O.C. was caught looking back in the 2nd inning. Hit a long home run in the 4th. Drove in 2 runs with it. He wanted another one there. And he walked in the 5th inning. So 1 for 2 on the day today. No balls, 2 strikes. That was outside. Dropped right in. Strike 3. Froze Osi in his tracks. That's going to retire the side. 2 runs for the Panthers. 1 runner left on base. We've got 6 complete here in Northfield. Weston leads this one by a 10 spot. 17-7. Don't go anywhere. Big 7th inning coming up in a moment right here on BNC TV. All right, folks. There you see it. 10-run margin of victory for Weston is going to put the bow on this one. Weston Wildcats win this one 17-7. Losing a baseball game by 10 runs, you'd think there's not a lot of good to take away from it, but Panthers did a lot of things well today. O.C. Ballard, his big home run. We saw Hodis give us some big relief innings. Tough first outing for Cardigary on the mound, but he's going to get better. So a lot of positives to look forward to. Looking back at the scorecard, Hodis had single and double today. Brody Welcome, solid. E.T., of course, a couple base hits. So you hate losing a ball game, you hate losing by 10 runs, but Tyler, some days that's the way it goes.
Hey, I will say things looked rough out of the gate, for sure. But you can see on the scoreboard there, it starts with 5, 3, 2, 0. You could see that Weston might have, whether or not they were, the pitching was kind of slowing down a bit, or they just got overly relaxed after such a powerful first inning. But then Pioneer comes back into the fourth, scoring 4 runs and, tightening that gap. I mean, we were looking at a 10-1 game up until then, and Pioneer snapped back into place and really, shook Weston awake and told them, hey, you're not going to take this too easily from us. You're going to have to work at it. But Weston was up to the task, as you can see. After they were snapped awake, they made things happen. But, it wasn't a shutout game. A D3 versus D5 team. I feel like this is what you would be looking at on this scoreboard. So I think Pioneer, for even with it being mercied in an odd way, we weren't sure if we were going to see a 7th inning. Usually the mercy rule goes away after the 5th inning. But, I think the Panthers can walk away from this loss really proud with the work they did out here today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Again, as we look at the line score up on the screen now, after 3 innings, Panthers are down 10-1, and it would have been very easy to just pack it in at that point. But, from that point forward, a couple of solid innings by the Panthers. Things got a little out of control in the top of the 6th, but by and large, playing a D3 opponent, nothing to be ashamed about there. We will bid the Panthers good luck as they have some road games next week, starting Monday down at Hopkins Academy, Wednesday down at Veterans Field in Greenfield, but that big one 1 week from tomorrow, Saturday, I think that's May 2nd, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct.
Out at Doubleday Field in Cooperstown, New York. And again, we're going to try and bring that game to you live. Conditions permitting, I think we'll say, instead of the usual weather permitting. Of course, that's going to be a factor too. Panthers return here to their home field on Monday, May 4th, when the Athol Senators come to town. And they'll be back here again on Friday, May 8th, when they host the Franklin County Tech Eagles. That one's going to be a 6 o'clock game under the lights here at Pioneer. So for the meantime, final score today, Weston 17, Pioneer Panthers 7. For the executive producer of BNC TV, Tyler Borbo, I am Lou Bordeaux, thanking you for your time this time. And until next time, so long from Northfield.
Hey!